Thanks for joining me on the 249 Marathon Project Week 8 update video. In this video, I'll discuss how all of the training sessions from Week 8 went. I'll also discuss the metrics and how I feel I'm at currently at the midway point here in this whole 16-week training block. I'd also just like to mention, if you like this content, if you enjoy and following along, if you're a runner, if you enjoy running content at all, I would really appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. You'll not get spammed with email. It's just a way that you can help me out by putting the 249 Marathon Project in front of more people and hopefully making it more achievable for me. So where am I at the minute, at the midway point? I'm not exactly sure. I'm not as far ahead as I'd like to be. I don't feel like I'm making the progress I need. Week 8 has really highlighted some issues that I've been having. I've been having issues hitting my paces on some of my pacier runs, my speed sessions, my speed endurance sessions. I've, up to this point, considered it the weather, the heat that was causing this. And as the temperatures cooled off, I thought I would be able to get to that happy place with my pace. It hasn't occurred yet, and we're halfway through this 16-week block. I'm not 100% sure where I'm at as far as pace goes. I haven't struggled at all in the last 3 years in a marathon block hitting my paces. Sure, we have hard weeks, we have medium load weeks, we have easy weeks. The process is a natural process. So on our high load weeks, high intensity weeks, yeah, we're going to have a hard time hitting some of the pacier runs and targets. However, I really haven't hit any target paces yet. Even my 5K race that I did wasn't particularly great. I should have felt a lot stronger, a lot faster on that race, and that was a few weeks ago. I'm feeling drained for the first time in a long time, and I'm not 100% sure what it is. I have a few theories. I have been making an effort to increase my calories with the hope that that will help. It really hasn't. As a matter of fact, I put on weight last week, and I'll talk about that when I go into the metrics. But needless to say, there's a few things that I'm working on. I would greatly appreciate any tips, advice, anything that you may have experienced and how you got through feeling drained, tired. These last 10 days, 2 weeks, I've been sleeping a lot more. I've been just unable to get out of bed. I've had upwards of almost 11 hours sleep certain nights. So that's very out of character for me. I don't know if it's a character flaw or if it's something that has physiologically affecting me. That said, I understand there are some times that we'll have hard weeks and some good weeks. I'm just waiting for the good weeks to start piling up because they haven't yet. So how did the sessions go? We'll just get right into it. Monday was rest day, non-running day. Pretty straightforward. I've been keeping Monday as a non-running day for the most part, and no difference in week 8. Tuesday was a 10-mile tempo run. First 6 miles at a relatively easy pace, and the last 4 miles at a hard pace. The goal was sub 6:30 per mile, or 4:02 per K. The way I've been executing my tempo runs for the last couple of weeks hasn't gone well. So I would go out, hell for leather, hit my pace in the first mile or two, and then crash and burn. My objective on this Tuesday run was to go out the opposite. I was looking to run fast on the first bit, but finish stronger as I went. And I managed to do that. However, but mile 4 was the only one that I actually got under 6:30 per mile. It was 6:28. So not great. Uh, However, I was quite pleased to finish strong. Okay, so that was a positive. I wore my Nike Zoom Tempo Next Percents. Wednesday was a 14 miler or 23-kilometer run. Supposed to be relatively easy effort. I went up into the mountains, just pure bliss, quiet, peaceful, just me and my trainers and a few birds singing. That's about it. I ran relatively easy pace. It's hard going. It was actually quite slow, but it was a very difficult run technically. The I think the overall average was about a 9:20 per mile pace, or just over a 6-minute kilometer. And while up in the mountains, I wore my New Balance Dynasoft Nitrile uh, trail shoes. It was a good run. I enjoyed it. Loved being up there. It was 26 degrees when I started at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's 79 degrees. So yeah, it got warmer and warmer as the day went on. Spent about 2 hours up there, or maybe even a little bit more. Tough going. Loved it. Thursday was a split session, 5 miles easy, 5 miles steady. I suppose if you look at it like that, with relative paces, it was a success. I wore Asics Nova Blast 3s. I ran slightly harder on my second 5 miler or 8K. Yeah, just not really feeling it on this day either. But I did put the effort in. Friday was my 5K social run. There was no second session. It was just the single session today. I wore Nike Revolution 6. Uh, on this day, it was I consumed a lot of calories this day. Again, I was feeling drained for most of the day. I ended up just under 3,000 calories, which is a lot of food for me. I generally don't like to eat that much. It just worked out that way. Not sure if that's helping. It doesn't seem to be helping. So I don't know. I think I'll probably try to keep my calories and everything back down to normal, but we'll see. I'm just confused right now as to what to do, because at this point it's like having a slight injury. We'll do anything to get back to running as well as we can. I'm just not there at the minute, so we'll see. Saturday was a 5 mile or 8K trail run. I decided to go into the Laguna here in Salinas. It's a dried saltwater lake. It hasn't had water in it for decades, but it's nice and flat. It's off road. Generally, a soft surface to run on. I wore Saucony Endorphin Shifts. Um, I'd love to say it was easy. It was no bother. However, I continued to struggle a wee bit on pace and an overall feeling of not having the energy to go out and do it. I don't know if it's motivation, maybe it's a mental block I'm having. It was just another day of battling the session, and it was just an easy run. It turned out to be an 8:29 per mile, which is 5:16 per kilometer. So not not fast whatsoever. Once again, Saturday, I consumed a lot of calories, almost 2,400. I know that for a lot of you, you might think that's not a lot. It's not probably even enough. For me, that is a lot, right? Even on a day when I run 5 miles, that's a lot of calories for me, especially when I'm trying to cut weight. Week 8 was set up so that I could go out and really have a successful, hard session on the Sunday long run. The Sunday long run was supposed to be 12 miles easy, followed by 8 miles hard at a sub 7-minute mile. That's 23K easy and 16K hard. As it turned out, the 12 miles easy, obviously easy is easy, was no problem. And I ended up going on a route that took me a little bit further than 8 miles. So it turned out to be a little over a 22-mile run, or just under 36K. The second part, where I was aiming to be under a 7-minute mile, it wasn't close. The average turned out to be a 7:38 per mile, or a 4:44 per K pace. Now, it was windy. It was a very hilly route. No excuse to be at that pace when the target was much lower. I started the run with the 12 miles easy, feeling drained. The first 2 miles, I was pretty much ready to pack it in. I didn't. I'm pleased to say I got the run done, and I did put a harder effort into the second part of the run, but it was difficult. I wore an old pair of Nike Alphafly 1s, hoping that I could pick up the pace and feel relatively comfortable. A 7-minute mile is not fast for what I'm trying to accomplish. That should be well in my wheelhouse, and it just simply wasn't there. When I did the second part of the run, it was 31 degrees Celsius, or 88 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, it was warm. Brief look at the metrics. I'll start with body weight. I was up almost a pound, 0.8 of a pound. I know it's not a lot, but my objective is to get a lot of weight off before Valencia on December 1st. It's a struggle, but that's the least of my worries. I'd much rather feel strong than light, if you know what I mean. I'm just not feeling energetic. And I thought I tried it. I tried adding more calories. It didn't necessarily do what I was hoping to do. So I will probably cut back on my calories as well and just see how it goes. Strength and conditioning, I did all 5 days of 20-minute body weight workouts, and I did get 2 yoga sessions, which is better than it has been. I'm still shooting for 3 every week, but I didn't get there this week in week 8. Currently sitting at 155.4 pounds, or 70.5 kilograms. My resting heart rate is still showing 39. However, this is my average daily resting heart rate. It has started to creep up towards the end of the week. I don't know if that's indicative of anything yet. I'll continue to follow the trend, and we'll just see how it goes. My average nightly sleep is up to 8 hours and 15 minutes. That's considerably more than I've been averaging for the last few years. It's 13 minutes more than last week, so that's trending up. I know that probably sounds like a good thing, but for me, it's a sign of lack of motivation, maybe lack of ability to get up and bounce out of bed and get facing the day. I'm just not sure exactly what it means yet. A lot of people would be happy with that. I'm not exactly thrilled. I'm averaging 128 grams of protein, which is down 17 grams per day. My average water consumption is down below 3 liters per day, which isn't great, but it is what it is. It's still relatively good, to just under 3 liters per day. And in week 8, I ran a little over 103 kilometers, or over 64 miles. So let's just have a real brief discussion about how I'm feeling at the minute. I don't feel like it's an overtraining issue, although it has all of the symptoms of it. I'm training slightly less than I have for the last 3 16-week training blocks that I've done. So if it's mileage, it's different. I don't think it's overtraining. I prioritize rest days, cutback weeks, and what have you. This week, coming in week 9, if you watched the week 9 video, you'll see this is a big cutback week for me. Probably the lightest week I've had since week 1. and this will be the lightest week, or the second lightest week of the entire block. I'm hopeful that this will kind of set me up for week 10 in a strong position. I'm also starting to supplement with iron. It has been suggested that it's possible that I'm a little low in iron, and looking at my food consumption over the last 6 months, iron is one of those things where I very seldom get 100% of my iron recommended value, so that could very well be an issue. I guess in summary, the only thing to say is I'm setting myself up in week 9 as a cutback week. I hope to come back in week 10 good and strong and feeling a lot better. Maybe supplementing with iron will help. I'm hopeful. I'm told that supplementing with iron, it may take a few weeks before I notice any difference. But with a light week this week and a focus on getting out of bed, looking to be a little bit more motivated, and good solid nutrition and supplementing with iron, hopefully things will start to turn around. I would love to get some input from everybody out there as to have you experienced this in a marathon training block before? And if so, what was it? And what did you do to get yourself back on track? Because I still have plenty of time. I'm only just hitting the halfway point here. I've got a lot of good, solid work behind me, and it's just a matter of tweaking it and getting back on track. But when you don't know and you've never experienced this before, it's hard. So that's about it. I thank you for sticking around, and I would appreciate your feedback, comments, anything you can offer as far as help, guidance, advice, whatever you can offer would be greatly appreciated. Support in general is always appreciated. So any kind words is would be nice as well. So yeah, have a great week of training, and I will catch up with you on Friday with the week 10 training sessions. Okay, have a great week. Happy running.